just another, wow, it's just a beautiful day here in Houston. It's March 26, 2026. Beautiful day. Probably going to get hot, probably get up to about 85 degrees today. And today I am finishing up the assembly of one of the leg assemblies. Let me grab this one and show you what I'm talking about. Here it is. So I got this one finished. So the workbench, this is the workbench top, and I'll have one of these leg assemblies at either end. And it seems long for the width of this bench, and that's because I'm going to put a tool tray on the workbench as well. So you have two rails, an upper rail, a lower rail. The lower rail protrudes just a little bit. This sticks out just a little bit it's decorative, and I think it looks nice. And then it's rounded off. Here's the rail before it's rounded off. This is the tenon, and you can see it's square. And it's also a little bit longer than needed. These up here are just about flush. I'm going to go back with a hand plane and get these cleaned up, but this will stick out, and this needs to be rounded off. And I've already started rounding off here. I'll show you how this is done. So this will go down here like that, and then there's another one that goes up on top. And so this is the part that I'm going to be completing today. And as I mentioned before, all of these pieces were cut out of really big pieces of construction lumber, and I've planed them, milled them, planed them, and learning as I go. It's really hard doing this if you've never done it. And I've really enjoyed the journey. It's a great thing. And there's some finishing steps that I need to do on all the pieces before I put that together. And so I thought I'd just set up the camera and do that and talk about a few things while this is going on. So I've done the round over. I need to get me a little piece of sandpaper and sand that. I've got some over here, I believe. I don't want that. Let me grab a piece of sandpaper. Things start to accumulate. There we go. This will be perfect. I got some 220 here. Either 150, 220 is probably fine. You know, all this stuff could be done using machines, but I have chosen to try to do as much of this workbench as I can by hand and using hand tools. Oh, that feels really nice. Now I need to do these corners and get those around. I'm going to do it with a rasp. Let's see how this... Just want to get a little rounded corner here. It's a nice little round over. And of course the rasp will leave marks that you then have to file or sand out, and I'm going to do a little bit of both. Okay, there's one. Kind of hard to get started, but once it gets going, you want to be delicate because you don't want to tear out big big pieces. So it's a light touch, and you know, I'm learning this about woodworking. There's a lot of things that require a very, very light touch, and then some things you got to really get after it. But that's part of the joy of learning a new craft. Okay, that's enough. Now, one of the things I've learned is I can use just a regular file, and that produces a very nice, clean. It takes off just a little bit of, it produces a nice, clean finish. Yeah, it's funny, you can use a metal file to do woodworking. I learned that watching some real master craftsmen on YouTube and how they do things. Now let's get this sanded. I think I want to do this a little bit more. I'm not happy with this. Yeah, I'm going to do this one just a little bit more as well. Now, let's see here. I think that's pretty good. Get a little closer so you can see. So I've rounded this off. And now when this part sticks out, it'll be that part sticking out. And I think it'll look pretty good. Now I've got to do this in. So I start with this. This is called a number 4 smoothing plane. I didn't know it when I bought it. This is a Stanley number 4 smoothing plane. I bought it off of eBay, and it's in beautiful condition. I think I paid about $50 for it, and I didn't know it at the time, but based on the features of the plane, and you can go in and look at how the features of the plane, like what's the lettering that's in the casting, any patent numbers, how the tote, this is called the tote, how that, and the handle, the type of front knob and the tote, and just the overall features of the plane. You can figure out when it was made. And this particular model was made in 1931 and 1932. And that just happens to be, my father was born in 1931. He would have been 95 years old this year. So this plane is either 94 or 95 years old, and it works really well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chamfer this at a 45-degree angle and just take this down, and then I'm going to round off this edge using the hand plane. And I want you to notice something. Not only do I have it at a 45-degree angle here, but I'm going to have it at about a 45-degree angle this way, because if you don't, it gets the blade. There's the blade right there. It sticks out just a little bit. That allows the blade to be at an angle so it slices, more easily slices the wood grains, the wood fibers. So we'll just do this. And yes, it's sharp. You can see these little pieces of wood that are coming off. It has to be sharp for it to work like that, for this to work. So I'm just taking it down. And then I start moving around a little bit to round off those edges. There we go. There. Look at all that came off. Okay, now the other side. It's quite relaxing, this, actually. I didn't have the plane angle like this, and I could feel the difference. And now that I've changed it, it's cutting much nicer. This side's a little deeper. I'm going to go ahead and do this side a little bit more. There we go. A little bit of tear out there. That's for me not holding the plane right. But that's what you learn. I mean, it's just part of learning. I'm getting better. I mean, with every one of these, I get better at it, but I still have a long way to go. Okay. I think that's pretty nice. Okay, that's good. Now we get the rasp to get this rounded part. I think something I want to get is a rasp that, this is pretty aggressive rasp, and they make them with lighter teeth, smaller teeth. This one's pretty aggressive, and that makes it a little hard to get started sometimes. And it takes a pretty big bite. So I'm thinking I'm going to get me a different, you can spend a lot of money on this stuff, and you don't have to. But some things are nice to have. And I think a nicer rasp would be, it's not that expensive, so it would be nice to have that. Also, the way the wood grain is, depending on what part of the wood grain you're starting on, it's all variability. There's so much variability in woodworking. Kind of want them equal. Want them to be kind of even. Okay. Let's hit it with the file. hit it with some sandpaper. All right. So I think that's pretty good. I think that'll look pretty nice when it's done. Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Did get a little bit of tear out there, but you know, I'm starting to quit worrying so much about that. Got a little something to fix right there too. Need to get a chisel and fix that. There's a little bit of wood that's sticking out right there that I want to take care of. I didn't do as good a job finishing this shoulder as I could have. Sometimes these little things are a little bit of a challenge. So what happened here is when I was cutting the tenon, I had a piece fall out, and so I tried to make a repair doing a glue, and it's a good repair so far. That's the other thing. You learn that the glue is actually stronger than the wood, and when you start taking apart a glued joint, you find that you don't separate the glue. You tear up the wood that's around it. Okay, that's good. That's got that. Yeah, all right, so that's taken care of. It's also a good idea to, when you're done with your chisel, you put it away, because invariably you're working on your table, your chisel falls off, and of course, like buttered toast, the toast always lands with the butter down. Well, in this case, your chisel always hits the concrete floor on the tip of the chisel, where you have to then spend half an hour sharpening it. Okay. So we're done with this. I can put it aside for right now, because we've got to do a couple of things with the legs. So I've marked the legs to give me indications, just to keep track of what tenon goes into what mortise. But I've got some pencil lines that I want to get rid of. Also, I need to chamfer the bottom of the legs. I'll show you what I'm talking about there. So I'm going to take my indicator tape here and move it to a different location. That way I can plane out some of these lines. It just gives it a nicer look. The pencil lines, I want to get rid of those pencil lines. Put these away, because I won't need them for a little while. Well, again, in this part of the assembly. Okay. Now one could sand, you could sand out the pencil lines, but when you sand the wood, you are actually tearing, rather than cutting, you're actually tearing the fibers of the surface. And when you plane, you're cutting the fibers in it, and it's a whole different appearance. It's a completely different finish. So in this case, I've got pencil lines here and here for when I laid out the mortise. So I just want to get rid of those, and need to back this off. Got it too aggressive. I'm backing off the blade. I just want to get some nice, very light shavings. Here we go. I'm not really trying to reshape the surface, therefore I'm not taking complete long cuts. If I was trying to finish this piece, I'd be starting down here and I'd go all the way to the end. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just hitting a couple of points right here where there's those pencil shavings. I mean, look, look how wispy that is. That's just a very small little, I mean, you could even read letters. You could put that down on a sheet of paper and you'd be able to read the letters through that. So that's how thin that is. Just to get rid of those pencil lines, that's all I'm doing. There we go. Now I'm going to give it just a little bit more. There we go. So I'm happy with that. So I'm not really reshaping the surface of the wood. Well, I am. I mean, on a, thousandths of an inch level. And I got some more pencil lines up here I want to take care of. And then I got to flip it over and do the same. Getting rid of those pencil lines just gives it a more finished appearance. I didn't do that on the other one. Like I say, I'm learning. There we go. Perfect. And this side doesn't have any because what I did, one thing you start to learn is that when you are setting up your locations for your mortises, you do establish a pencil line to figure out where it goes. But after that, you use a knife and you reference everything to a knife edge. And you can watch videos on how to do that. But one thing, that prevents you from having pencil lines all over your work. And then also the knife edge is much more accurate than a pencil line. So we're good there. Now what I need to do, okay, here's the bottom of the leg. What I need to do is chamfer these edges here, put a chamfer there so that the leg is not resting on the edge of the bottom of the leg. It will be resting on an edge, but that edge will be inside here because I'm going to chamfer this, and that pushes all the surface pressure from the leg down into here, and you have a gap, and that way when you move the table around, you won't be tearing out the edge of the leg. I'll show you what that is like. So I think I'll use this other clamp. It's stronger. It's another thing when you start woodworking. You end up with a lot of clamps, but you need them. Okay, so I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, there you go. There's one side. Let's rotate it. Okay, there's another one. So I just, I'm learning as I go here, and I just learned the way I was holding my plane caused me to have a little piece of tear out there. Had I had the plane like this, the cutting direction would have been down, and it wouldn't have been cutting up to where it was going to tear out a little piece of wood. It's all these little things that you just learn. And I don't know. I guess, you know, there's probably, you'd find that somewhere in a YouTube or in a book, but I think a lot of it you just have to learn. Okay, one more. This one needs a little bit more. Okay. Now let me pull this up closer so you can see what I'm talking about. Here's what I'm talking about. See, I've got a little chamfer now so that when you move the table around, it's going to move around on this little surface right here, and that way you won't bang up the edges. Now there's that little piece I tore out. It's not a big deal because I don't think anybody's ever going to notice it, for one thing. Obviously I don't like having it there, but it is what it is. But this way, when the table leg is sitting on the ground, resting on the ground, you try to move it around, you're not dragging the edge of the bottom of the leg. It'll be right on that, and that'll get rounded off in time. In fact, I may just go ahead and round it off a little bit with the file, or not. Okay, so this leg's done. Now, let's do this one. So just so you can see what I'm talking about. There, you can see that little pencil line right there. And then got a couple of pencil lines down here. This is a reference line to tell me that this is the face. Here, let me pull this tape off. Put that someplace else. I'll put it right here. It's good to mark things so you know where you're referencing from. So when you start to lay out first off, when you square a board, you have to get one side flat and then get it flat and straight. And then you mark it so that you know that that's your reference. And then everything for the rest of the piece is going to be referenced off of this side. So then you square this side to this side to this side. See, I showed there's another line. I don't know if you can see it. That tells me that these two are my reference sides. And then everything gets referenced to those. But these are those little pencil lines that I want to get rid of with the plane. Some people use numbers like mortise 1 goes 10 and 1 goes to mortise 1. I don't know why I started using letters. I just did. A and B seems logical to me. 1 and 2. Although I did number the legs 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, let's do a little planing here. Get rid of those pencil marks. So I'm going to back off the plane all the way. So we're not cutting anything. A number 4 plane is also called a smoothing plane. There we go. Very light cuts. I'm just getting little wisps of wood coming off of here. Just enough to get down to that pencil, below that pencil mark. go. So it brings out bright, clean wood, and of course in a couple of weeks that'll start to yellow out a little bit, like this older wood was. You can just see these little wisps. They're just little wisps coming off. That takes care of those marks. Oh, that's just a little ding. Of course, we're not building. I guess a workbench is kind of a furniture item, but that's not really what I'm building here. A little too much of a bite there. Got one pencil mark there that seems to be a little heavy. There we go. Okay, that got rid of that. Okay, no more pencil marks there. And now I've got this pencil mark right here. Get rid of that one. I mean, you don't have to do this. I mean, it's a workbench, so. It's not the end of the world to have a few pencil marks on a leg in a spot where nobody's ever going to see it. Okay, that's got it. So now this is a big deal. We're at a point where we're going to glue this thing up. First thing I'm going to do, it's probably going to look a little bit like a monkey with a football. Some of you may understand that reference, because I'm going to be fitting this thing and I'm putting pieces together. Okay. Oh, wait. No, I got to do this. I got to do the, I am not ready. I've got to do the chamfer on the bottom of the leg. I got to get that done first. Quite peaceful out here, particularly in the mornings. Got the birds singing. Okay. Okay, there's one. All these little details. I still need to put these chamfers on the other leg. I didn't do that when I put it together. And it's easier to do it before you put it all together. I mean, it's not a problem to do it after you've put it together. It's just better to do it. Okay. Very good. If you probably go look at your dining room table, you'll see that the bottom of the table legs are done this way. And that's so you don't get those tear outs when you move the table around on the floor. Okay, good. These little touches are not hard, and they add so much. But if you don't know to do them, then you don't know. There's a lot of pleasure in using a tool that's almost 100 years old. Little piece of grain right there that's just, it's just the way wood is. You get these little pieces that don't act like the rest of them. Ooh, that's like people. Here, I don't need that now. I'll be using my big clamps, my big long ones in a minute. There we go. That's the, there you go. That way, that'll be nice so it doesn't, yeah, doesn't tear out on the edges. Okay, exciting moments. I got to get everything oriented. So that's the back. That's the rear, okay. There's the rear, okay. And here is, okay. See, I've got it marked to be on the outside. So that part's going to be on the outside. So on the outside, A and B. A and B. There's B. A. This one, let's see here, that goes on the outside. Okay. So before I started making these tenons, I bought a piece of wood and I was making practice tenons. This is something you want to practice before you start doing it on nice pieces of wood. Let's see here. These are kind of tight, but I don't mind. It went together real well last night. I'm off a little bit. Something's a little bit crooked. There we go. That's better. I'm going to use the clamp and pull that together. It came together real well last night when I was doing a test fit. Let's see what we can do here. Let's just do this. I was actually going to leave it together last night. There we go. I'm using the rubber part of this. There we go. It was just a little bit off. This is a test fit. And it could be just some changes in humidity have caused the wood to change just a little bit. There we go. It's together. Now let's see. Get the square. That is nice and square. 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 Time to glue it up. This is where it gets exciting. Okay, I'm going to put get my clamps ready. This is a wide piece, and so you need a long clamp in order to clamp it together. Okay, pull it apart now. I'm going to glue that last. And the reason, it's a little bit tight, but the glue will help guide it in, lubricate it a little bit. And this side, for some reason, is a little tighter than the other one. And once you start gluing, you don't have time to mess around. Now I do use Type Bond 3, which theoretically gives you close to 10 minutes working time. I don't know. I don't know about that. Okay, save these little cutoffs for making the tenons. Okay, so here we go. It's about to get exciting. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to get glue on both my pieces. And then I'm going to get these pieces into this leg. And then once I get that done, then I can put the glue on these and get that one, clamp it, make sure everything's square, make any final adjustments that I need to. And I am now at the point of no return. And you do not need to slather this stuff on. I mean, you want enough. Oh crap, I'm already dropping glue. Better get a rag. The clock is ticking now. Crap. This is a stressful moment. The other thing is you don't want, because part of this sticks out, you don't want a bunch of glue on that other side. You don't want a bunch of glue on the end of your tenon. Okay, here we go. All right, in we go. This is totally the point of no return. There's one. And I just put this in wrong. Oh, I can't believe I did that. What I did is I have put glue on the wrong side. I did the wrong tenon. That was a stupid thing to do. But it happens, and it just shows you I am human. I did it on both of them. It's going. I don't know if this tenon will work. Yep. Well, it's going to. It's going to have to. I put the wrong tenon into the mortise, which was a stupid thing to do because I wasn't paying attention. And those are the kind of mistakes that you just are so easy to make. And part of it is when you're making these, you're fitting each mortise, each tenon to each mortise. Okay. Okay. All right, here goes. Now this is the right one. Okay, that's all good. Now I'm going to have to do a little something here. Since I screwed that up, I have to test fit. I'm going to have to test fit the I'm going to have to test fit this tenon to make sure it'll fit in that mortise. Okay. All right. I don't know how I can do that one other than just hit on it. Like I did what's called creating work is what I did. By putting the wrong mortise in the wrong. Okay. And I got to work quick. Oh, here, just throw that away. Okay. Let's make sure I can get this. That was a stupid thing to do. but I think it's going to be okay. Yeah, it's going to be okay. Yep, we're going to be okay. All right. That was a boner thing to do, let me tell you. Oh my goodness. All these things. That was a completely boner thing to do. You spend all that time trying to get everything to fit exactly right for that spot, and then you put it in the wrong spot. But don't let it get you. This is learning. This is how you learn. Okay. Don't want a bunch of glue there. Let's get glue on this side. Sure glad I'm using this Type Bond 3. Gives me that extra working time. So the other thing you need to know about glue, glue does not have any filling properties. I mean, it'll fill a hole, but it'll break down, so you'll end up with, it won't hold up if you're thinking your glue is going to save you from not having a good mortise and tenon joint. You can use it as a filler because it is not a filler. I am going to have to use the clamp to pull that together because that mortise is not exactly the right one. We'll get it. This is not the way you're supposed to do it, but it is the way I am doing it now. This is the way you do it when you screw up. But the important thing is to know that you can fix it. Most of the time. There we go. Coming along. There we go. Got my clamp for this one. And don't get mad at yourself when you make mistakes. Shows you're human. Just deal with it. And know that you probably aren't the first one that's ever done it. Let's get rid of this. There we go. I can just feel that going in nice. Yep, good. Okay. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. Yeah, it's pulling together nicely. Sorry I got my back to the camera, but there's just no other way for me to do this. I have to do it this way. There we go. And this one. Okay, perfect. At this point, this is what it is. It is what it is at this point. It is what it is. I don't like that. There we go. Let's get this straight. What you're seeing me do is putting clamps on either side of the rails. That's to pull both sides, because this wood twists. You know, even big pieces like this twist a little bit. So I want to get these pulling straight evenly. Do a little bit of glue cleanup in a minute. Okay, all right, there we go. This is a big deal. This is a big step. Oh, you know what I did? I forgot to clean some pencil lines off of those pieces. More amateurish stuff. Nothing wrong with being an amateur. You're learning. There's my water bottle. Got to go. There it went. Now, we'll see if I've been living right. Let's see if we're square. If we're not, I'm going to beat it around a little bit. Well, I tell you what. There is nothing wrong with that. Given my capabilities, what I've learned, and how much I've had to learn, that's pretty good. It is square and it's going to work. That's heavy with all those clamps on there. I gotta watch that glue bottle, but there you go. It is clamped up. And it is what it is. So there's actually, let's see, there's 2 pieces of wood here because those are laminated. 2, 4, 5, 6 pieces of wood, 4 mortises, 4 tenons. It's almost dimensionally correct. I got to do a little bit of correction there. And it is square. There we go. All right. Thanks for watching.